I never imagined that 3 seconds of recording could completely destroy 15 years of my life. It was 2:43 a.m. when my cell phone, hidden behind the living room plant, captured the most devastating scene any woman could witness. My husband, whispering, "I love you," in my best friend's ear, while she responded, "I love you too, I always have." My name is Anna, I'm 38 years old, and for 7 years I built what I thought was a solid marriage with Ricardo. Letizia had been my confidant since I was a teenager, my maid of honor, the person who comforted me when Ricardo and I fought. She was family, or at least that's what I thought. That early morning, pretending to sleep in my bedroom, I heard muffled laughter coming from the living room. My heart raced with a hunch I'd tried to suppress for months. The signs had always been there, the messages he'd hidden, the casual encounters that had become all too frequent. The way she'd look away when I talked about him, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for what my cell phone recorded in those long 47 minutes that destroyed everything I believed in. Let me go back to the beginning. Ricardo and I met in college. He was charming, ambitious, the kind of man every woman dreamed of marrying. Letizia was the first person I introduced him to, and she immediately approved of him. "He's perfect for you, Anna," she always said. We built a comfortable life, our own home, to cars and annual trips. I worked in advertising, he worked as an engineer. Letizia was our neighbor, divorced for 3 years, always present at our dinners, parties, and important moments. It was like having a sister living on the same street until the signs started to appear and my perfect world started to crack.
Before we go on, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any chapter full of twists like this one. Hit that like button right now, because it helps me bring you more real and intense stories. Comment down below and tell me which country and city you're from. Share this video with a friend who needs to see it, and send your story to the email on the screen. I'd be happy to share it here on my channel.
It all started 6 months ago when I noticed Ricardo was different. He was more careful with his phone, taking longer showers, and arriving home late from work with elaborate excuses. New project, client meeting, traffic is terrible. Letizia also changed. Her visits, once spontaneous and warm, became awkward. She avoided my gaze, became nervous when I entered the room while she was talking to Ricardo, and was always in a hurry to leave. The final straw came on my birthday 2 weeks ago. During the party, I caught them whispering in the garden. When I approached, they quickly moved away, and Ricardo said they were planning a surprise for me. Letizia smiled tightly and changed the subject. That night, after everyone had left, I confronted Ricardo. He denied everything, called me paranoid, and said I was too stressed at work. He hugged me, apologized for his recent coldness, and promised we'd go on a weekend trip together. I wanted to believe. I desperately wanted to believe, but my intuition screamed that something was terribly wrong. And then came the night that would change everything forever. Last Friday, Ricardo said he was going out with his coworkers. No big deal, he always did. But at PM, when I passed by Letizia's house to take out the trash, I saw his car parked in her driveway. My stomach churned. I drove home in shock, trying to find a logical explanation. Maybe he'd gone to get something, maybe she was having car trouble. Anything but the obvious. At 11:30 p.m., I heard the key turning in the lock. Ricardo came in, telling me about his night with his friends, describing details of a bar I knew he hated. I lied, saying I had a headache, and went to my room. At 2 a.m., I heard the front door open again. Careful footsteps in the living room. Quiet laughter. A female voice I'd known since I was 15. That's when I made the decision that changed everything. I opened my phone's camera, put it on silent mode, and with my heart racing, I tiptoed down the stairs. What happened in the next few minutes was beyond my worst nightmares. With shaking hands, I positioned my phone behind the potted plant, with a perfect view of the living room sofa. I returned to my bedroom, left the door ajar, and pretended to sleep, my heart pounding so hard I thought they could hear it downstairs. For 47 minutes, I recorded the complete destruction of my life. I saw my husband and my best friend kissing on the couch where I watched TV every night. I saw him whisper the same sweet words in her ear that he whispered in mine. I saw her wear the nightgown I gave her last Christmas, but the worst part wasn't the physical act of betrayal. The worst part was the words, "I can't stand pretending I don't love you anymore," he said, caressing her face. Ever since that party at Marcus's house 3 years ago, I haven't been able to get you out of my head. 3 years. 3 years they were together behind my back, and Anna? Letsia asked, not seeming the least bit worried about the answer. Anna is a good woman, but she's not you. She never was. I married her because it was expected, but my heart has always been yours, he replied, kissing her again. Letsia laughed softly. She's so naive. All these months she thought she was going crazy, that it was paranoia. If she only knew that every time I came to comfort her after her fights, you called me to tell me every detail. They laughed together. They laughed at my naivete, my trust, my pain. At that moment, something died inside me. It wasn't just trust or love. She was the woman I was, the devoted wife, the loyal friend, the person who always saw the best in people. But something was also born. A strength I didn't know I possessed, an iron determination to no longer be the victim of this story. When they finally left at 4:37 in the morning, I knew exactly what I was going to do, and no, it wouldn't be what they expected. The next morning, with the evidence in hand, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't make a dramatic scene. I called a divorce lawyer and scheduled an appointment for Monday. I locked all our joint accounts. I sent copies of the recording to my personal email address and to a trusted friend. When Ricardo woke up, I served coffee as usual. When Letsia came over that afternoon to chat, I offered tea. They had no idea of the time bomb that was about to explode. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply outsmarting those who underestimated you. This is just the first part of my story. Next week, I'll tell you how I executed my plan, their reaction when they discovered I knew everything, and how I turned the worst betrayal of my life into my greatest victory. If you've ever experienced something similar, leave your story in the comments. You're not alone. And if this story touched you in any way, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one, because believe me, what comes next will surprise you even more.
If this story touched you in any way, subscribe to the channel now and help me amplify women's voices. Asterisk, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next ones. Asterisk, share it with that friend who needs to hear this today. And tell me in the comments what you would do if you were in her place. See you in the next story, and it could be yours.